Well, hello everyone. It's Black Mountain Talks, and this is Lena and Mike with you. Finally, Mike is here, and Mike has been away for 2 weeks, so we have a lot to discuss. And we had two guests. Meanwhile, one stream is already uploaded. It's with Oleg. It has been subbed, and the stream with Vladimir is now processing. Unfortunately, it takes longer time than I thought. But today we're going to discuss things with Mike, and hopefully we will meet together with Oleg and with Vladimir too in a while.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, because it's always very interesting, but those conversations were really interesting too. And well, there's a lot of Putin's peace plan, although it was introduced before G7 summit, but I would like to hear Mike's opinion on that.
Well, it's a reasonable plan. The first thing, because it will stop the fighting, which is most important, but not a single plan can be as good as they had before, because remember, they had a Minsk, and Minsk was the best of all. And when the special military operation started, it was a talk that it will be worse conditions for Ukraine. So, and it is actually coming, because if they really think hard and implemented that second negotiation in Istanbul, and the war would stop there, and Ukraine will be saved basically. But now situation is even getting worse, because demands will be higher. Nothing can match Minsk, and Minsk will never happen again, because those territories, those four oblasts or regions, they're lost. They will be integrated two are integrated in Russian Federation, and two will be integrated. So the next step will be they refused this time. Of course, because the G7 clowns, they said that they actually laugh, including the Canadian Prime Minister, laugh at their proposal, because they have only one interest: to continue fighting, because they pay money launder that. They doing a lot of export of weapons. They created war for the military-industrial complex, but ultimately Ukraine is sacrificing themselves for nothing, because bear in mind, those four regions, they will belong to Russia one or another way. Now, the second question is, then what is the next? Odessa and Kharkov. I believe that will be the next. That will be chopping off Ukraine from the Black Sea and the major ports, and it will be a landlocked country. There are few in Europe, definitely, but Ukraine will be basically chopped to the different regions that will be highly likely absorbed by all other countries that have pretensions to do that. Like Hungary will take their portion in Zakarpattia, Romanians will take their stuff, Slovaks will take their stuff, Poles will gladly grab Lviv, and maybe even up to Zhytomyr. So yeah, I mean, time will tell, but definitely Ukraine will never have the same opportunity that they had with Minsk, and the second last chance really that they can really do something was that negotiation in Istanbul that that idiot from UK, Boris Johnson, stopped.
And what seems very interesting to me, like I heard Russian experts, and they are sure that Putin gave the West opportunity to save their face and to retreat in a civilized manner with with having respect.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was a fair offer, and Russia already retreated from Kiev, because there was never Battle of Kiev. It was simply pressure. The major battle, the major strategic gain was on the south, taking Mariupol, getting land bridge to Crimea. Only dilettantes can't understand that Kiev was just a decoy diversion. And there was never planned to take Kiev in 3 days. That idiotic US general said that, and most of morons just trying to repeat it all the time. Morons of the West. So there was never a battle of Kiev. There was never a plan of Kiev for 3 days. It was pressure to Ukrainian leadership to sit down and really talk something meaningful. But and the agreement was achieved. Agreement was achieved, but what happened? That idiot from UK, that he came and he basically screwed up everything. And he on his hand, he had 600,000 dead Ukrainians for now, and who knows how many it will be after.
You know what I'm interested in, really? I don't understand. On the one hand, experts of the West say, "Oh, we are running out of munition. We have nothing to put against Russians," and on the other hand, they keep on firing up this conflict. What do they think they will fight with, and what do they hope for? I don't understand. Do they have maybe some kind of genius plan, or it is like a game of dice or a game of luck?
It was actually a genius plan because they wanted to break Russia, but they didn't want to fight by themselves. So they need scapegoat, and they found that. In that Ukrainian leadership, which they basically put it on in power since 2014. Bear in mind, nothing is happening overnight. Those events in 2014, they were planned decades ago. As soon as the Soviet Union collapsed, even before that, from 1950s, when the US and NATO start to train, equip, and finance those Ukrainian nationalists, former basically Nazis. So this is dragging from 1950s. And 2014 was culmination when they brought their own people. They toppled the legal government, they brought their own people, and they created the civil war. Now Ukrainians are caught into that network because carrot and stick. So they were promised they will get democracy. Hell is going to freeze before Ukraine get democratic. So that is my opinion about what is going to happen with them. So the next thing is that Ukrainian blood costs nothing for West, because they found the way how they can save their people. They can do money, they can print money. They don't care. They corrupted. They give money to Ukrainian politicians who are. Ukraine is the most corrupted country in Europe and second corrupted country in the world. I'm not going to name the first one because I'm planning to go to Caribbean for vacation, not for that certain island. Yeah, so Ukraine is the most corrupted country in Europe. Is a fertile land. Is all money laundering, all everything that you can imagine that you can do with money. It's happening in Ukraine, and cost West nothing except money and all the equipment, because sometimes they're delivering something new, but this is basically tuning up to breaking Russia, but that didn't happen. Bear in mind, 1990s they tried to they were very successful breaking Yugoslavia, and that was just a test bed. They thought that it's going to happen with Ukraine, with Russia, but it didn't. It actually backfired, and now the snowball is going steady, but so slowly but steady. So it is going to get worse, definitely. And Ukraine is now that country is destroyed. It's over. I mean, people realize that, but they have corrupted leadership. So there is nothing that they will do to help that leadership. There's nothing to help their own people. The war will continue, and the Ukrainian army will be slowly melted to the point when there is nothing left. So if they riot and topple existing leadership, they may save a little bit of country. But you know what? Those vultures on the West, they're going to grab something free. They will get Western Ukraine because Russia doesn't have any interest in taking that one. But the other countries, which are Ukrainian good neighbors, to say good neighbors, they will take whatever they say that it's theirs. So there is no chance that Ukraine can stay in any even close borders, which is now.
And you know what is very interesting here? It is today's news. Like 2 days ago, Belarusov talked to Lloyd Austin on the phone. It was Pentagon's initiative. And today, it was like early in the morning by Russian time, Belarusov instructed the general staff of Russian armed forces to take measures against like NATO drones which are flying over the Black Sea. And here what I have paid attention to, that flights greatly increase the likelihood of incidents in the air with the aircraft of Russian airspace forces, and this increases the risk of direct confrontation between like NATO alliance and Russian Federation. So do not NATO understand what they are doing, or
Yes, I believe that they understand, but there's a lot of hotheads, and they want actually to test Russian reactions. And what is going to happen? Russia is going to down several drones until one of those NATO manned plane like RC-135 is maybe sacrificed for the more escalation. So enough is enough. Russia is extremely patient regarding to that stuff, but there is limits. There's simply limits when country can go, and these planes now openly. They started that many people say many moons ago. They started many years ago to basically to spy over Russia from the international space. And which is fine when it's not waging, but now they're directly helping Russian enemies, and Russia has too much patience to do that. One day that patience will simply run off, and after that it will be very, very tough. And NATO actually want that because they want to escalate. You see what's going on in the States. Yesterday I watched that. Just a little bit of that comic show. It was brutal. It was their debate. I mean, if US of 350 million can find two normal people to compete for the president, that country is doomed. It's like a geriatric show is going there, talking who is better, golf player or who has a relationship with the prostitutes. I mean, and those two guys are president and his challenger. U.S. turned into the joke, really, really joke. And true U.S. patriots, they understand it. But those jokers that running U.S. politics, they are dangerous now because a wounded beast is the most dangerous because they may try to do something to provoke, to just to keep that geriatric. I don't know how to even to call him. It can maybe be abuse of old age, but they're keeping that mummy on the. In power. Actually, he's doing nothing. The people behind him, military industrial complex. Those are the guys who pull the strings. But he's just exposed. But yes, after yesterday, I don't even know how to call that fiasco, crap, whatever. It's simply clear. Maybe even we will not have an election in the States, and we will have a major war in Europe because somebody need to pull the strings and pull the trigger. And those who pull the trigger they are not in Russia because they are in NATO. So, and you see what's going on with those Baltic Chihuahuas. They're barking, and but dog that is barking is not biting. So they're just exposing themselves. So I believe that the next few months will be really, really critical because something is going to happen. Russia had enough, but Russia is the good thing. Is perfect thing for them is they're sticking to the plan. They tried at the beginning, didn't work. They adapted, they learned, they adapted, they replanned the stuff. But now they're doing this war of attrition slowly but steady, grinding Ukraine. That is something which is which they're very, very, very good. Unfortunately for Ukraine, they are losing 10-1 casualties compared to Russia, and there is just a matter of time when some of their units will riot. I heard 2 days ago that several battalions just left the position because they had enough. So anyway, time will tell what is going to happen, but it's simply not good for Europe, that for sure. But Russia is just sticking to the plan, and they have contingency plans for everything.
Yeah, I have understood that already, but what I don't understand is Europe the next one to be sacrificed into this fire of war, or what? What's going to happen?
Why not? Why not? Because who is pulling the strings? It's U.S. U.S. doesn't care for Europe. They will sacrifice Baltic Chihuahuas. They will sacrifice Poland, Romania, if they can get some advantage of that. So see how it's set up. So Slavs will fight Slavs. That's the point. While Anglo-Saxons, Germanic people will be aside until they see who is going to win. One day they have to negotiate, but this is the way how US is actually destroying Europe and building up their MIC, military industrial complex, and their industry. You see how much prices jump in Norway or in Germany or anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's evidence. Even in Canada, we have so much increase in prices that is unbelievable, and we have a jerk of prime minister who is nothing, just a bootlicker, nothing.
Yeah, the currency rate is going down, the prices go
Yeah,
up, and
yeah, it's
but
unbelievable
and
what is going on. But everything is part of the plan that West need to implement. So far, it worked very well because their plan was to destroy Russia. But now, and the tool in that will be they plan to be Ukraine. But now the tide turned. Russia didn't break. Russia had a mighty allies. Russia is member of BRICS, which is overtook the G7. So G7 is now just a bunch of clowns, and simply multipolar world can't be stopped. That's the point. So Europe will be just a backstream swamp, one of the swamps under the control of the US.
yeah, it looks a lot like that. Because and what I don't really understand. Okay, if Ukraine had like before SMO, before the war, they had approximately 40 million of people. So they had a potential, an amount of people, and they had very a lot of trained people. I think they had 600,000 of men who went through that ATO, as they called it, that fights against Donetsk
Yeah,
and Lugansk. So those people were prepared. But
yeah, but
what about
they're
Europe?
lost. Yeah, they're lost. They lost those two
Yeah,
armies.
and that potential, it's like wasted. These people
Yeah,
are nearly gone. But if they take like the Baltic states, maybe Norway, Sweden, they cannot even get close to the amount that Ukraine had. So what they're hoping for, is it lack of planning, or it is just done on purpose to throw Europe into
yeah, it's
mid-grid?
done on purpose. Just throw the Europe to the slaughterhouse. For now, they're using Slavs. They will continue to using Slav. And I say they, it's been US. U.S. establishment. So they will sacrifice Europe because Europe is nothing for them. Europe is something that they're using as a place where they sell their stuff basically because they cut Europe from energy. So those idiots in the West, they're now in the Western Europe, they're now bonded basically to US. They have to buy that, and even without thinking about ordinary people, about population. So yeah, it's almost like a ritual sacrifice of certain people, certain nations to the altar of world hegemony, and it's crumbling. It's crumbling. You just look what US looks now, and what they've been 20 or 30 years before. The same is with Europe.
Yeah, and with two previous speakers, we were discussing like two topics. They might seem alike, but they're different. I asked Oleg, what does he think if European unemployed will be sent as soldiers to fight in the Ukrainian war? And I asked Vladimir about draft. So
Mhm.
these two topics, I think they are separate, because when you take unemployed, you can make them sign contracts and go to
Yeah,
war.
yeah,
But
yeah,
many countries, not many, but some of the countries are talking, and some have already returned draft.
mhm.
So they are moving away from contractual army into drafting army. And
Yeah. But
Vladimir said that draft is very expensive and it is like huge systematic work. So
yes,
he
exactly.
explained
I absolutely agree because the draft is something that we had it in the East, but that was institution. Draft was embedded for 100 years, maybe even more. So that was logistically that's very demanding. And imagine now they're going to put kids from the school that doesn't care. They don't care about military, so they're going to draft them and send them to the training courses. I mean, it just to put that mechanism in motion, you need 5 years. You need a cycle. We need first to see how it will work. U.S. tried draft in Vietnam, and what happened? They lost it. The U.S. is a professional army. Canadian army is professional army. I was in reserve there, but Germans, they had the draft, but motivation of the people. One thing is to motivate people to go to fight in Afghanistan, and another thing is to go to fight Russia. You see how conscription is going in Ukraine. They're just snatching people from the streets, left and right. So every day it's ridiculous what they're doing. Now Poland is trying to rearm, trying to introduce that, but they have to attract people to get to the military, either with the better salaries than in civilian world, or to introduce that draft. But draft will be not welcomed. Why? Because the mind is set up completely different. If you look at the youth in European countries, they don't want to do their own stuff and live their own lives, easy lives. But the military is not easy, definitely. So I don't think that they even talked about the draft in the U.S. Who is going to go there? I mean, they're fighting each other. They will have civil war in a year, maybe. So they may introduce draft, but against the other side. So it will be more south against north, but now it will be maybe east against west, or midwest against Pacific coast and east coast. I hope that there will be smart people to prevent it, but everything is according to situation. Everything is going toward that. Draft is not going to solve anything. Ukraine is a pure example of that. They're now drafting people, mobilizing people forcefully, and what they're losing 10-1. So motivation is out. How to win the war? You have to win the hearts and minds of people to get that willingly. If people are not getting that willingly, you're not going to stop them with the blocking detachments of surrendering or running away. So there will be a lot of desertion, a lot of surrendering. But on the other side, look what Russia doing. Only professionals, only contractors are fighting. Russia has a huge army of conscripts which are trained. So many of those conscripts, after the service, they sign for the contract. And Russia has a base, probably the most combat ready professional army now in the world, because they're fighting peer opponent. U.S., Canada, NATO. What was our? We never fought against peer opponent. We fought against Taliban and lost. They kicked us out from Afghanistan. A bunch of guys on the motorcycles and pickups kicked out almighty NATO from their country. Yeah. So that it is what it is, and we are just living in the imagination that we are strong. Yeah, we are strong because we have nukes. When I said we, it's West. But the other countries also have nukes. We don't have army that can be motivated to go and fight. Look from the top. The fish is rotting from the top, and look at the top of the government of those countries. They're rotten from the top. They're corrupted. That is the point. Yesterday showed, or whatever. Yesterday's circus shows that 350 million people can find two normal people than rather two geriatric faces to talk who had a relationship with the prostitute or prostitutes who play the golf better. I mean, it's ridiculous, and this is the mirror of society.
And what about like contractual army if they will not draft, say, kids or the people who don't want to fight, but they will motivate people who lost their jobs to go into the army? What could happen to those?
Yeah, but they have to motivate with a certain way. How to motivate? Benefits and salary. But I think that it's more feasible to, for instance, U.S. They have hundreds of thousands immigrants, so they will maybe promise them you will get citizenship and all privileges as a U.S. citizenship, but you have to serve 3 or 5 years in the military, and voila, we will have the contractors, professional soldiers coming from the other countries. But it can backfire because they have to filtrate them. A lot of those who came to the States are just criminals, and they will use every opportunity to avoid anything that can basically harm them. So they came for a better life, and they will not find a better life in the military. Canada has a problem with the military. We lost so many professionals. People don't see themselves in the military. Reserve units are struggling to keep maybe 25% of members. Now, but for instance, battalion has a 200 men. This is my battalion. 200 men. I don't think that there's more than 50. So 25%. And the motivated people. If somebody is on unemployment, he can find a job in the next 3-4 months, maybe a year. So why should somebody sign for the military service for 3 years when he can probably get back to the civilian market? For the immigrants, refugees, yeah, it's different because they will be blackmailed. So either you sign contract or you're going out, and that may, if Trump win U.S. elections, it may really happen because they're struggling for people. They will simply offer contract to refugees 3 or 5 years service for the U.S. Then you will get either green card or citizenship. But even maybe they will get if they get citizenship or rights before the elections, just to vote for Biden. Nobody's going to join the military anyway, because they will. You see what's going on there. It's a criminal gangs. It's criminalized society. So it's ruled by street. So they will. There is much more easiest and safest way to make money than join the U.S. military and go around the world fighting who knows where. And the last thing is motivation. What are they fighting for? Money? Are they fighting for their country or what? No country. Country is just for them. Country is nothing. It's different for Russia, different for Serbia, because we always try to that is better than us. But in the West, who cares for that? Flags. We have many stars and stripes, or any kind of colors in waving from our mast flagpoles. So yeah, it's I don't. They can try, but even to train them, you will need a year. In the best of the best cases. Until then, Ukraine will be just landlocked country.
Yeah, and I have also heard opinion from some of my friends who said that West was importing immigrants on purpose to train them as an army to fight Russia, but it doesn't look very credible to me.
Yeah,
because
they want some. They have a goal. The goal is basically to destroy individuals, like a religion or individual groups, and create like a world government or Euro government. They have some kind of that European Commission or whatever, EU. But bear in mind, those immigrants, they're mostly military age. They're coming from the war-torn stuff, and they probably had war enough. They can be motivated, but they will be motivated to change a society in the country where they emigrate, not to go to fight for somewhere else. So imagine now Paris, for instance, after the Olympics, you have 100,000 African immigrants running around with weapons, knives, axes, and what is going to happen with France or Germany? I don't know what's going on, how situation in Norway, but in Germany you have places where you don't go after dark. In many places. In France, even worse. Some not only streets or neighborhoods. You simply there are many hundreds or thousands of blocks. Then you don't go there. Not even after dark. You don't go there at all. Look what's happening in Malmo, Sweden. Even police can go to some areas, and somebody expecting that those guys will just dress like a Swedish or French uniform and go fight for France. They don't give S like they said in North America. They don't give S for a country, for leaders. They want to have a full belly and full pocket.
And there was a joke about Malmo in Sweden. So urgent news. No, nobody was killed in Malmo today.
Yeah,
It's an old joke, but
yeah, yeah. That's,
but
I
it's
mean,
very sad indeed.
yeah,
And
it's sad.
I remember I was subscribed to one channel. That guy, he worked for Amazon, first in Japan, then he moved to Seattle. There he lasted for several months, and then he moved back to Japan.
Yeah,
Because first thing that he was handed in the office was a like map of the city, and there was like a whole part of the city was crossed out, and boss said, "Don't never go there
yeah,
because
yeah.
it is dangerous there even in the daytime."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I spoke with few cops in the U.S. and in some cities. I'm not going to name the city, but not far from Toronto. They told me in some if you see somebody approaching your car, if you're stopped on the red light, just go through. See if there is no imminent danger, just go through. Don't wait somebody to approach your car. Or meaning, hey, red light, go to red light. Just get out of certain areas. One
That's
night, one night I was forced to go from the highway in that city, big city, because some accident, and I have to go to some neighborhood. And what I saw is just a fire, so on in the streets, some ruined the houses, and a few guys sitting around almost like a campfire. And I thought maybe because that time GPS, I didn't have GPS. It was a while ago. I thought maybe just to pull over and ask them how the easiest way to get to the Canadian border. But then I said, oh, no. It was past midnight in very, very problematic neighborhood. So no, just drive until I have a gas. So I was able to not to hit Canadian border, but even go north, because I just I drove by sense. And also beside those fires, police SUVs just running back and forth full speed. Yeah, so it's almost like a war zone. And it was 2008, I believe. Yeah.
yeah,
Now
I
it's even
guess.
worse. Now it's even worse.
Yeah, I guess those people will not go anywhere. They will most likely they will stay where they are and just take what they need from those locals who remain.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
and in this sense, I would like to bring this video now. It is President Putin who is meeting presidents of Kenya,
Mhm. Is it
and
Kenya or Sudan?
yes, it was. I think today. Yeah, it happened today or yesterday. I already lost a bit track of time. So it looks like, uh, to me, it looks like Russia is maybe saving West in a way, because people of Africa, they will not move to Europe to West anymore in search for better life,
Yeah, because
because
it will be
Africa
better life
is
in
going,
Africa.
because yeah, like better life in Africa will mean that better life all over the world too, and less immigration. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Well, it will continue. And you know who was who stopped the immigration firstly? It was Gaddafi, because Libya was barrier for all of those people from Africa to go to Europe. Once when they eliminated Gaddafi, now everything is open. And Gaddafi actually wanted to keep people there, to develop those countries. He had the plans and he was visionary, but unfortunately Clintons and their clique, they eliminated him, they killed him. That was now I believe that in the next few years immigration will continue, but after that depends of economy, how situation will develop, less and less, because people will not go because Europe is actually turning. It will be in the maybe decade, it will be much worse than Africa now. And Africa is continent that was used and abused for centuries. And finally, it's time that so people there can really start to live normal life.
Yeah, hopefully, because they really
Yeah,
deserve that.
yeah,
And now when Russia starts developing of cooperation with Africa, West is outraged because they are deprived of their not favorite toy, I say, but of the cheap resource base.
Yeah, look, France, country that doesn't have a single gold mine, is the fourth by gold reserves. So it's basically stealing all over the world.
But now it looks like they don't have a right to mine uranium in Niger anymore.
Nigeria and Burkina Faso, they kick them out, and that's the trend that will continue. And France honestly deserve that. What they've done to Africa and other colonies, they said that they brought democracy. They just brought pure exploitation of local population. Brits are not better. They're all the same.
Oh yeah. And by the way, here is one very interesting article. It's not article, in fact, it's statement by Josep Borrell, all European gardener, as I like to call him. And here he explained why it is bad that Russia has banned certain European media from working in Russia, and why it is good that Europe has banned Russian media. So I had to double check the link because first of all, I thought that I have run into some humorous portal because I didn't think that person could ever write something like that, but he actually did that.
Yeah, he's a clown. He's clown, world-class clown, and there's many of them in Europe.
And my only question is, do they even understand what they're speaking? Or do they think that people are really that ignorant not to understand what's happening?
Yeah, it's complete delusional. They're delusional. They're living in their own world, a rich world of their own relationship between similar people like them. They don't know what reality is. That's the bottom line. It's completely delusional. They're intelligent people. I'm not saying that they're completely that they're mentally impaired. They're intelligent people, educated people, but they deviated from that normality to something completely different. They deviated to ignorance and delusional state, and they're living in their own shells. He's talking about garden, and it's. That statement became like a meme, like a joke to everybody else, and I think that garden need to be plowed.
Yeah, in order for garden to prosper, you need to work there, not
to work.
Just to speak that our garden is that perfect, but when you don't do anything, and looks like they are doing even worse.
They're living in their own world. I mean, it's imaginary world, disconnected from reality.
But they have solicitors of a sort, some kind of experts who might just tell them that that things are actually not the way that you think.
They have smart people that works for European governments, but those people are people never heard about them. It's like reports are coming, but there is somebody who collect all those reports, put it aside, dump that into the recycle bin or garbage can, and continue with their own story. That is the problem, and this is the big problem. I see it's decline. So every civilization, every empire has the peak. Europe has the peak 1950s, 60s, but now it's decline. Roman Empire up to including the Byzantium lasted for 1,000 years. Western is not going to last more than 200, and we are coming close to that 200.
Yeah,
nobody can make happiness on the expenses of others.
Yeah, and several 2 maybe or 3 weeks ago, I had one not quarrel, but argument with one expert. He's very well known, but he disagreed with me. I told that US has no potential at all. They will not regain their power, and they will have to accept that they are not
Yes.
number one anymore.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
person strongly disagreed when I agreed to one other speaker that US is turning into banana republic, and that person opposed. He said no, US has unlimited potential. So I would like to, like, you live in North America, in Canada, you are like neighbor of the US. What do you think of American, like, state? Do they really have that endless potential, or it is like thoughts of patriot who is who simply loves his country and doesn't want that country
Yeah,
to look
they
back?
had power. They had potential. I'm intentionally talking about the past tense. It's they had potential, but everything turned. Everything turned because there is somebody. There is a group of people who is ruling U.S. We have those two major parties, but they're all ruled by same master. And one of the exposed masters is MIC, military industrial complex. We're talking about Rothschilds. People. Somebody may think that Rothschilds are actually behind it. No, they're Rothschilds and Soros. They're just cashier and the PR. But those who are in shadow, who are not visible, they're the one who rule everything. They're the one who decide: is there going to be war? Is there going to be cool summer? How they're going to make money? And you see, the only regarding to the potential, yes, they have resources, they have a people. US has everything. Canada also has everything, but there is a struggle of people inside these two countries. And when I said there's true American patriots, and they're mostly on the Midwest, East and West Coast, just that short depth of those lines. Any kind of the genetics are there, and everything is full by media. But it will be interesting to see how these real true American patriots, that I believe also, like there are several high-ranking military officers, for instance, General Flynn, or there are also some members of current chief of joint chief of staffs. So yeah, they're patriots, and they want to do something with their own country. But you know, it's imagine like a plywood 4 by 8 feet, or let's say meter and a half by 2 meters. And when you leave that plywood outside, what is going to start to grow beneath it? All kind of bugs, insects, parasites, whatever. Now, if somebody opened that, just flip that plywood, all of those parasites are going to run away. That is actually the role of government changes, of elections. Flip that plywood and let all of those bugs, insects run away, or maybe make a barrier so that you keep them on one place so that you can eliminate them. I'm paraphrasing this, but it should be something that push those ordinary Americans, and I know many Americans are wonderful people, really, really wonderful people, so easygoing. I mean, I never, but hardly anybody is really easygoing as ordinary Americans. But the problem is that their government is completely disconnected from the people, and they're ruling almost like give them bread and games. Give them Super Bowls, all of that stuff, and people will Taylor Swift, and people will be happy with that stuff. But what is going on behind is that their representatives are the one who are making profit, and exposing those profiteers is something that will be task of those patriots who really care for the states.
And I also now recalling one chart I have seen, and it showed uh, actual, like, not nominal, but like factual pay per hour that person gets. And in fact, people now who work, they don't they get only the half of the payment that they should have
Yeah.
received.
Yeah, about that, because the money lost meaning. And look first the price of gasoline. So when I came to Canada, it was 50 cents or 45 cents per liter. Now it's dollar. If I can find $1.50 somewhere, I'll be happy. In the States is even worse. They're counting in gallons. They used to pay a gallon, which is 3.5 liters, I believe. Because they're still keeping on those imperial measures. It was $1.20 or maybe even less. Now they're paying almost $3. So for them, it's a huge. And the prices are jumping everywhere. It's crazy. Inflation is 25%, but our leaders, they said, no, we don't have inflation, or inflation is minimum. No, just go to the store and see how much is inflation. So taxes, taxations, and all of that stuff, it's everything is on ordinary people. So I don't know. It's people need to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to pay their bills.
But for me, it looks like it is also done on purpose, so people don't raise their heads. They don't have even a chance to, when they come home from work, they don't have a chance to think about what's happening.
Yeah, people come from work because they're working 2 jobs or 3 jobs. They're leaving before dawn. They're coming late night. They just go to bed and repeat that 7 times per week.
Yeah. And I really wanted to show, like, speaking about the US, I cannot help myself. I know it is bad to laugh at old and sick people, but still I want.
Trump do? Why? Yes.
That really, it looks terrible to me. So
it's a circus. I mean, it's if it's not recorded, I will not believe. It's I don't know. It's like this is going to last for a while with that jokes. It will be that debate or post debate will be people are going to talk about that for many months and many years as a joke period.
And I remember people were laughing at Brezhnev, but what Biden looks like, it's much worse than
No, Russian Politburo, at least they were old when you look at them, but at least they can have a meaningful meetings. But what is going on with those guys down south is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's laughable. And when you see what is Biden's name, Jill, Jill, yeah. She's almost like she's acting like a nurse.
Yeah.
telling the old guy what to do. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, and he is just standing, smiling, and seems like he even doesn't understand where he is.
Yeah, he don't know. Did he just came or is about to leave? So that's the problem. It's all man abuse. Just let him go.
Yeah, and I remember.
It's up to them to decide. Not up to us.
Yeah, and there is a smartphone game, Plants vs Zombies. So it looks like.
Yeah.
It's a terrible comparison, I know, but that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, they laughed about Russian Politburo, Soviet, actually not Russian, Soviet Politburo, with Soslov, Brezhnev, Kosygin, and all of those guys. But now they have their own. When you look at those Congress members, some guys which are in their 90s. But look at the president and the candidates. So, I mean, people in that age should simply just retire and do something fun, go play golf. But they're bragging about golf and other stuff in public.
Yeah, they are still at the at the right side of the grass, and they should be enjoying the
yeah,
life,
yeah,
not
yeah,
to go to something like some meetings like that.
yeah. Just collect stamps or coins or whatever.
Yeah.
Not true. And you know what? These guys are holding the codes for the nuclear weapon launches. So it's scary. It's funny, but it's funny scary.
Yeah, it's more like nervous laughter for me, especially when you are in Europe and you know that your relatives might be the next who follow the Ukrainians.
Yeah,
So it's it's really not funny.
yeah,
And
exactly.
the last thing, it is I think it's a good sign. It is from French press. The truth about the SMO broke through on French TV channel TF1, and they have shown the
Yeah,
video or the story about Orthodox traditions in the Russian army.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think about that? Is it a good sign? Because also
Yes,
think that
yes,
it is a
yes.
good sign.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people have a goal, and people going. There is a meaning. There is a really meaning that people know what they're fighting, what they're fighting for. On the other side, that stuff that Russia uses, it's gone. Doesn't exist now. So the spirituality is very important, and if people have that inner support and inner beliefs, yeah, absolutely, results will come. So, and if on the West, if in the West really they start to realize, based on this picture, what is really going on and what is behind. People, ordinary people maybe simply turn and said enough is enough. I'm not talking about politicians, because for them nothing is enough. Even they have a trillions, no, it's not enough. But ordinary people, if they turn to religion, to turn to God, and turn to really start to believe again, yeah, I believe it is going to change for better. But it's hard step. It's hard step to make.
And what I think that it is very good that that this story was on TV, so people
Yeah.
seen it, and people who are broadcasting, maybe they also have some chance to show the truth at least.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
believe that. I believe that.
maybe it's a sign of change of the agenda. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Small. Yeah. Small steps, but steady. Just keep it steady.
And maybe that is why Borrell was so fearsome in defending the media, who he said showing the true story. But
They live in lies. We already said, yeah, they're living in their own shell, and let them live. Yeah, let them live. Sooner or later, their time is passing irrevocably, and they will be finished.
I just hope that they will not be finished together with us. So
No, 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 no. Hopefully, let's hope. Let's be positive.
yeah,
Yeah, they will go
because
to the garbage of history. They will finish in those as a very negative sample. One day in the future, maybe in a generation, they will talk about them as a bunch of lunatics who wanted to destroy everything.
because now as I see Russia, it likes showing the alternative. So you can be friends with other countries, you can
Yeah.
have spirituality, you can have
Yes.
at the same time churches like separated from the state, so you can have everything.
Yeah.
And this is that freedom.
Multiculturalism, multi religions, just normal and true beliefs. Not that's something that is invented or serving who knows what.
And in this also in this aspect, I recall the terrible terror acts that took place on Sunday
Yeah, yeah.
last week.
It's Trinity Sunday. Yeah, it was planned. It was planned, but it didn't happen without reason. There is I don't believe in coincidence. Because, see, attack on Crimea, attack in Dagestan, everything coming from the same pot. How come that, for instance, those ISIS stuff, they never attack Israel? How come that they never attack US? There's always attacks on, let's say, Bashar al-Assad or Iraqi civilians or Russian civilians. I never heard that they attack Israel. So I think it's planned. It's planned. There is the investigation is going to determine. It's almost like a crocus. You know who was behind crocus. They can tell whatever they want, but we know who is behind it. And I believe that the same stuff is also involved in this case as well. These few cases as well.
And several days before that, I think Podolyak, he was reading a lecture in some American university, and he said that internal stability is very important for Kremlin, and that's why to undermine as they call it, we will. It was like said that we have to work on undermining internal stability in Russia. So,
yeah, they're working that. So I mean, it's people just need to connect dots.
Yeah, of course, we cannot state this as fact because it is investigation isn't finished, but it is something to think about. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think we discussed everything for today. Thank you, Mike. It was very interesting, very informative. And thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye, guys. See you soon.
Bye. Okay.